Hey there, welcome to Contracts and Chaos. My name's Alyssa.
And I'm Brenna, and we're here to tell you that you are not alone in the mayhem of this real estate industry.
We're keeping it real and sharing our stories, strategies, and successes in today's real estate world.
So come join us every Tuesday while we talk contracts and chaos.
We'll just go with the flow with this one because
Yeah.
oh my God, the year's over. It's a new year. It's a new year.
Yeah, this is going to post in the new year. But even as we're recording this, as you just said, we are only 29 days away from a new year. And that feels crazy. That feels crazy.
Yeah, we were just recording an episode like this a year ago.
Yeah.
Here comes 2025. Who's
Right?
ready? Who's ready
And
for
all our
2025?
beautiful 2025 goals and all the things we were going to do and how great it was going to be.
It's always funny. I saw a meme on Facebook this week that said, "I ain't seen a single one of you be like 2026 is going to be my year," right? Because like you're scared now, aren't you? Like every time you say it, something wacky happens.
Yeah. Yeah, tell me about it. I saw a meme the other day. I sent it to you that was like, if January me could see November me, it was something like they wouldn't believe the shit that's happened this year. And I was like, yeah, we had a lot of curveballs. And like personally, professionally, I mean, I've had 2 agents just in my personal network at the firm within the last month move their license to referral status.
Yep.
2025, whether you had personal stuff or business stuff, was not an easy year. And I'm not going to gloss over that because thankfully, I think you and I ended up in places we're comfortable with. We've kind of talked about it. Like, did I hit the goal I wanted? No, I was actually talking to, I don't remember. Oh, Meg Bradley about it yesterday. Hey, Meg, if you're listening, about how, like, did I hit what I want? No, absolutely not. But with what the market handed us and what life handed me, I still beat last year's transaction numbers.
Which is huge
So I'm
because
good. Right.
with a market that was, almost 50% down on average, that's good.
Like, and that's how I feel. It's like, okay, so if I hadn't had all of this year, what would I look like?
Right.
What would that be? And you can't live in the what ifs. So, and I don't want to dwell on 2025. If this is going to be our first episode, 2026. So today we wanted to talk about how to move into 2026 with confidence.
Yes. Because listen, there are things that happen like in 2025 that we have no control over, right? Like we can't change interest rates. We can't change things that happened personally, things like that. But if you want your business to look different, if you want the year to be different, feel different, you have to show up differently. If you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, that's where there's a disconnect, right?
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
It is. It is. So we are hitting 2026 strong this year. So I'm excited about it.
Yes. So I think the first thing to remember is like, why is confidence so important? And confidence is not cockiness or arrogance. It's clarity and communication. Like confidence is knowing who you are, knowing what you're good at, and communicating that effectively, not in a cocky or arrogant manner. Like so that, and it reduces the chaos. Like if you're confident, you know what you're doing, you can glide through things.
Yep.
Even if it's fake confidence, there are times where you can fake it and walk through that fire and just be like I had one last week. The listing said the fire pit should be included. The sellers took the solo fire pit and left 4 concrete pavers. The listing agent said, well, that is the fire pit. I said, no, it's not. She said, then you should have written it in your offer. I said, well, you left the stove was in the listing and it wasn't. And I just said, you know what? I hope you have a great end of the year. And I bought my clients a fire pit. Because confidently, I knew I was in the right. Yes. I knew I just owned it. Sometimes that is the confidence, is owning, hey, you know what? Not worth the argument. Not worth the anxiety or all of that. And it creates a domino effect, I think. Like confident agents have smoother transactions with repeat business and referrals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
for
I
sure.
think
Like I was thinking about it today. I was like, I don't have to buy that many Christmas ornaments, or like I don't have to send as like more Christmas cards and stuff because I have so much repeat business every year.
yeah.
Like, and that's awesome.
Yeah, no, and I love a repeat business. I love when people start referring you for things like that, and your confidence plays a big piece in that. Is people feeling like they can refer you because you're confident in what you do, they're confident in you, right? And that's where it all kind of comes together into this business that is repeatable. But yeah, so as far as eliminating anxiety and things like that with being confident, it makes such a big difference. And we're not talking about like, yeah, there are times when you have to fake it till you make it or face it till you make it, right? But there are times when maybe you're trying to get into commercial, for example. Like I've been asked, hey, do you do commercial? Nope.
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 Solid hard
I
no.
don't
I've
not
done one, and it's only because it was like commercial in name and it was a vacant
Mhm.
building. I was like, and we done.
Mhm.
I'm not touching
Yeah.
this again.
I sold one commercial vacant lot, like a piece of property. And no, thank you. The timelines are different. The people are different. Like, that's just not, that's not me. And I can confidently say I am not the best agent for you when it comes to
Right.
commercial, right? You know what I am the best agent for? If you're relocating from out of state, that's me. If you're selling and moving out of state, that's me. You know,
If
I
you're
am
70 years or older, you're Brenna's client.
that's me. But they're like, stay in your lane, right? Because if
Oh,
you're
for sure.
trying to be the best at everything, you can't be confident in all areas, right? It's like picking your specialty. They always talk about niching or
Right.
niching
However you want to pronounce it.
down. And that's not to pigeonhole yourself into not working with those people. That's not saying that you won't ever work with, you know, a first time home buyer if you only want to be a listing specialist. The idea is to get very, very good at what you're good at, right? Focus on that one thing that makes you stand apart. So your confidence projects out and people are like, I just want to work with her because she's like great at what she does or great
Right.
at what he does. Because they want to feel secure, because when you're confident in something, it emanates and people are like, oh yeah, great,
Yep.
I know she's going to take care of it. And that starts with communication, right?
Right. So we have 3 pillars to cover today.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one is communication. For sure. I think this one's the most important, but I will let you roll into communication.
Communication. So originally when I was first licensed, I did a lot. Well, we were with EXP for a very short time, but then KW. And KW is a very scripted approach, right? And they would role play and do all of this stuff. And the idea is not to memorize these lines, but to be able to blend the idea of the script, the structure of a script, with who you are as a person, to talk naturally, to have a conversation with something. The more you are confident at what you're saying, if someone says, oh, hey, how's the market at a holiday party or at the school, you want to be able to speak fluently and expertly on your local market. You don't need to say, oh, well, the United States is down 50% and
Right.
tariffs
So
this or
I always say stop listening to the news because they
Mhm.
don't know. And like especially in our area, the market can change based on the block.
Oh,
Like
isn't it on different
so
sides of the railroad track or on different sides of a
literally.
highway? And like you can be a
Yes.
mile away from something and be priced completely differently. And that's where it's important for you to really know your local market, right? The other thing is talking about expectations and boundaries when you get into the actual transaction part of it. I had a buyer consult recently where I was very open and honest, like I don't work a lot of Saturdays and I don't work Sundays, right?
Right.
This specific family has an instance where they will be looking at houses mostly Saturday mornings, and I'm like, well, lucky for you, we have a lull in our travel softball right now. So I do
Right.
have more of that availability, but that's not something that I do on a regular basis, right? And setting that boundary, communicating my hours up front, made it very, they were aware of that. And I was up against 3 other agents that they were interviewing for a buyer's agent, which we should do an episode on that too. I have been interviewed for a buyer's agent position more in the last 4 or 5 months than I ever
Really?
have been. Interviewed
Interesting.
like a listing appointment, interviewed to be a buyer's agent. Isn't that crazy?
Very interesting. That is crazy because I've never, everyone who's come to me to want to be a buyer's agent, like, okay, let's go. Or can I work with you? Or how do I get started with you?
That's
And I'm
wonderful.
just like,
That's
that's
wonderful.
it. Like, okay.
I think it's going to become more, and we're getting off script here, but I think it's going to become more popular because people didn't realize before that like they were on the hook to pay a buyer's agent if things didn't work out. And now that they're very, very aware, because we have to make them very,
Yes.
very aware that that is a possibility, that now they're like, ugh, who do we actually have in our corner?
Right.
You know?
Yep. No, which makes sense. I mean, and I think, again, off topic a little bit, I've always been, hey, here's how this works.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why they felt confident. Like I wasn't hiding anything or hiding numbers at closing.
Yep.
So
Well, that
was a
goes
little
in.
different,
That's not
but-
even off topic because that's part of communication. That's
right.
In my experience. This is how it works. What happens next is our next steps are all of those things, because how you communicate, and if you act flustered or you are flustered, that just creates stress in the transaction.
And this goes for written and oral communication because I think it's just as important. Like I have a bunch of templates for emails that go out at certain times. There's stuff that my TC sends. There's stuff that I send.
Yep.
That backs up what I'm saying. Or like say my clients are traveling or they work a lot. I'll put in there, hey, sending this as an email because I know you're at work today, but give me a call if you want to chat about this so that we are on the same page. Because I'm not going to call them during, my calling hours when I know they're in the office and bother them.
Yep.
Or I'll shoot the text and be like, hey, I sent you an email. Let's chat about this later. What time works for you?
Right. And I feel like also a big thing with communication is, especially right now where we have the ability to communicate, seconds back and forth, right? Text this, text that, phone call, whatever it is. Sometimes waiting or silence does more communication than like arguing back and forth for 10 minutes. Our softball coach actually has, and he said it when we went to first try out for the team. He's like, listen, if you have an issue with a game, right, there's a 24-hour rule. We don't talk about games.
Oh, I like that.
Until after the game, right? Because everybody's heated, everybody's emotional, like whatever. If there was, and we haven't had a situation like that. The girls played good this season. But he's like, if there's an issue, you have an issue with playtime, you have an issue with a call that I made, whatever the case may be, I have a 24-hour rule. We don't talk about the game until after the game. And I was like, that's really, like, that's such a mature and responsible way to handle things. Right?
Well, and even like conversationally, like sometimes, even if it's like negotiating, sometimes you say what you have to say and pause. And let that empty space be filled by someone else. Because, and I struggle with that because of my ADHD. I'm like, no, someone has to be talking all the time. Oh my God. No, because sometimes they need to process their thought, or they need that space, that air, that opportunity to say what they want to say. And if you try to fill it, you might say something you don't mean.
Yes.
Or you may give up something in a negotiation because you think, oh, they're not going to give it to me. They're not talking. No, be quiet. Just be quiet for a minute and see what happens. I
think you'd be surprised at how many, and probably for you too, like if somebody reaches out and like, well, we're not doing this, period. And I'm like, okay. And I just wait.
Yep.
And then sometimes you get another email and they're like, actually, my sellers have thought about it, or, that kind of thing. And we're willing to do, because sometimes it's like the heat of the moment, right? They're like, no, I'm not doing that for no reason.
Right.
Even with my own clients, sellers that we've been presented with a repair request and they're like, absolutely not. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, all right, well, I can definitely pass that along to the buyer's agent, right? But think about XYZ. If we go back on the market because they back out, we're disclosing XYZ. Okay, great.
Yep.
Think about that. And then I will, maybe hear back from them and they're like, actually, we will do this and we will do this, but we can only do this on this.
Right.
Right. All right, let's
or
work on.
sometimes, like we had one, we were negotiating, and my clients were like, "Okay, send another counter." Like we haven't. I said, "No, wait." And they came back, and their agent had explained to them during what we felt was silence, "Hey, it may not be the number you wanted, but there's no contingencies. It's a 35-day close. It's going to get you out of having 2 mortgages.
Yeah.
Their financing is solid.
And that
You
goes
don't
back.
have any other offers."
We have
Take
another episode that we did, last year now, but on motivations. We did one for sellers and buyers, and that ties into that too. Being able to speak confidently and concisely about, listen, I know this isn't what you thought it was going to look like, but we are trying to get you to West Virginia. We're trying to get you closer to the grandkids. We're doing, like, whatever it is, to tie it back to their motivation too. All right, let's work on pillar 2.
Well, so hold on. I want to give our listeners a mini exercise. So if you're like, well, I feel like I'm confident, or I'm not confident and I don't know what to do, this week or when you're done listening to this, rewrite or work on like one wishy-washy line that you use, like something that maybe you're not confident in speaking to buyer agency and how people are paid compensation these days. Or maybe you're not confident. I know for me, South Carolina changed the due diligence and earnest money, and it's not what it used to be. And I need to brush up on that so I better understand it. Mm-hmm. So if communication is one of your things, then take one of those this week and work on it, work through it, read what you need to figure out, so you better understand it and you can talk to it better. And if that means role playing with someone, do it. Even if it's your mom or like I do. I don't necessarily role play with my cat. I read her affirmations. But if that's all you got, go for it. Because I can tell you, when I started, you know who I called and pretended to have? I called my mama. Because I was like, I'm not going to call another agent and sound stupid.
Your mom is such a good, I have a million brothers and sisters, right? So when I first got licensed, I was like, listen, 8:30, you better be by your phone. And my family is a theater family. Like, we are a drama family. So when I tell you that I handled every objection in the book, right? My sister answered the phone like fake crying, and she's like, my mom just passed away. Like, this is not a good time, right? I'm like, oh my God, like, what is wrong with you guys? But just trying to, right? No, it did. But I was like, this is too much. Dial it. I
feel like your family was out there Googling, okay, what are the objections that we can, or they're like, all right, let's watch some HGTV so we're ready when Brenna calls.
God, they took their job very seriously. And I do appreciate it, because I was like, what do you mean that you have 4 heirs that have to all sign off on this and nobody's agreeing? Okay. Anyways, moving on.
Right. Okay. So pillar 2, and just, I feel like this episode today is like combining a bunch of recent episodes of things we've said before. Yes. But when you put them all together, this is what gives you confidence in the industry. Mm-hmm. So pillar 2 is setting the boundaries that reduce the burnout. You have to have that structure. Like Brenna just mentioned, she doesn't work Sundays. I know Brenna doesn't work Sundays. I don't work Sundays during football season, or I don't work home game Sundays during football season. You need something, you better hope that I hear my phone ding while I'm sitting in the stands, because otherwise you're not going to hear from me. I set a boundary because of all the travel I had in November. I kept telling everyone, we can talk after Thanksgiving. We can talk after Thanksgiving. Someone sent me a text asking for, hey, I want to coordinate this event. And I literally 2 text messages earlier, I said, yeah, I'd be willing to help, but I can't talk about this until after Thanksgiving. Uh-huh. She still sent the text. She will get a response today. I did not respond to that text because I clearly set a boundary and I was not violating it at that point.
Yep.
And if that doesn't work for her, that's her problem, like.
And we're not saying to boundary yourself out of business, right? Because we've had instances where we've talked to other agents too, that they're like, well, I don't do this and I don't do this and I don't. And you have to earn the right to have, not even the right, the ability to have those boundaries, right?
Right. If you're a brand new baby agent, there might be some boundaries you have to give up, and that sucks.
For a little while.
Get it.
But
it's not forever. Mm-hmm. Right.
Exactly.
And I think, and because people are going to say, well, if I break it now, then people are going to expect me to break it later. No, because you explain to them, hey, this is a one-off, or, if they are repeat clients down a couple years later, you say, hey, just so you guys know, here's how my business has adjusted over the years. Like one of my clients, the last time we closed, I didn't have a TC. So I had to go through that conversation of, hey, it's the same thing. You're just saying this is how my business has grown and developed since we worked before. So it's not going to be, well, I'm going to have to break it forever. No, you just kind of have to earn it. You got to get that ability, like you said.
Right. And this one isn't necessarily a boundary, and I don't even think it's on our list, but talking about building confidence is being able to keep those appointments or those promises that you've made to yourself, right? Those boundaries might look like I'm doing lead gen from 9 to 11, right? Like I'm not responding to emails. Just because it comes in doesn't mean it needs to be responded to in the next 30 minutes. I check email 3 times a day.
Like I have a dentist appointment Friday at 8. Someone asked me to do something Friday. I think they're meeting at 9. Old Alyssa would have called the dentist and be like, oh, I got to move. Sorry. Got to change that.
That's
New
important.
Alyssa's like, no, I'm going to go get my freaking teeth cleaned. And when I'm done, I'll come up and join you guys.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
and it's that simple. It's if you say that you are going to write out, 5 thank you cards or how you doing cards in the morning, and you get a call and they want to go get coffee, what are you saying? Are you saying yes? Because if you're saying yes to something, you're saying no to something else. And if you continue to say no to the things that you told yourself you were going to do, even if you're getting up and doing yoga or you're going to walk 2 miles today, if you're moving those things, you're not building confidence in yourself, right? And you have to have confidence in yourself to show up confidently to others. So I think being really strict about those appointments or those commitments that you've made to yourself or for your business is very important. And we'll do a new, I think, time block episode here.
Yeah, I think we need to update.
Brush up on that, yeah.
But yeah, and there's some great lines you can use for this. Like,
yes.
I used the one that you can ask anyone in my life. They were repeatedly told, we'll talk after Thanksgiving. We'll talk after Thanksgiving. Even people socially. I was like, hit me up after Thanksgiving. Because I literally, and again, on the phone with Meg yesterday, she was like, which state are you in today? And I was like, I don't know, despair, exhaustion. Do those count? Because there were times where I was like, oh, what day is it? But you can use some lines. Like I set that boundary. We'll talk after Thanksgiving. Or, hey, I'll get to that first thing in the morning.
That's such a good one.
And you don't even have to say why.
Right. It's so easy. My phone goes on Do Not Disturb after 6, right? So and I have clients that work, right? And that's something that we also have to understand too. You can't, like I said before, boundary yourself out of a business. You can't do that. But if somebody reaches out at 5:43 and is like, hey, I had a question about the CCRs on this property, great. Yes, I will look into that first thing in the morning, right? And then that goes on the list for the morning. But I'm not like, okay, yeah, hold on. Try to figure it out right now. It does no good for me to rush through it. It does. The difference of them receiving that information right now versus tomorrow morning, unless we're writing an offer that moment and it's going to make a difference whether they offer or not, just set it aside. But just let them know. I'll do that. I'll look at that in the morning. I have appointments this morning. I'll get back to you after 1:30. Give them an idea of what's happening, when you'll be back to them. And that's the best thing you can do. The second one is during listing presentations or buyer consults, letting them know what communication looks like up front, right? My listings get a listing update email every week. If there's showings that happen or information that happens in between there, I'm reaching out during the week, but your update email will be in your inbox on Mondays. That's how that works. Same with buyers. I'm not going to bombard you with properties if I'm not seeing properties that work for you. I will check in every week or so and see if you saw anything on your Zillow or Redfin or something that I'm not seeing on MLS or that's attached to your MLS search. But other than that, I think that clarity is the easiest thing to do. Just let them know what to expect. And I've had people be like, listen, I don't need to hear from you every week.
Right. Oh, yeah. There's some people, or it's like, no, don't send me that email. We'll just chat when things happen as they happen. It's like, okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah. Or I also, maybe it's not even strict listing communication. It's, hey, and you kind of mentioned this, I set a boundary of 6 o'clock. My phone goes on Do Not Disturb. I tell people the same thing. If it's after 6:37, I may or may not answer because that's my boundary. I know I start later in the day, so I end later in the day. but let's hope like maybe I'm out on a date finding a husband or out having fun with my friends. And if I do happen to be at home and I happen to have my laptop out because I'm working on something, yeah, you'll get a response. But otherwise, it's going to be the next day. And like, we're not in. Oh, I just saw Kim Draculich post that she was in a multiple offer situation the
I
other
did
day
see that.
in less than 24 hours. I was like, what? What's
Not
happening?
again.
Please praise me with that on my, or bless me with that on my listings.
Wouldn't that be nice? Only on my list. I don't want it for my buyers, but
Right.
for listings, if we can throw that out there, that'd be great.
But yeah, I think that's part of your communication guide is like, here's how this works. Here's what's going to happen. So that you're not like, I had a client. Oh, that reminds me, I need to call this person back. Well, it was like the night of Thanksgiving at like, or like the night before at like 9:00. And I was like, you're not even a client right now. I will call you after Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
No. But I do need, I'm going to write that down right now. But yeah, if you set that up, or maybe you use like auto replies, like for people that aren't clients, or a Calendly link to set appointments with new people so that they can only book during your time block. And if, hey, they do need a different time because they do work different hours, then they can reach out and say, hey, none of this works. And that's when you can ebb and flow. But you shouldn't be bending all of the time.
I don't use Calendly, and I think we've talked about this because like I try in my calendar to fill the space with specific items, and that's why we'll have to do an updated time block thing, right? If I don't have appointments, I have to give myself specific tasks, because if I have a big block of time that just says like, we're going to lead gen, I need to know what I'm doing.
Same. I need to get better at that. I need to focus it in, because otherwise I'm sitting down, cruising the internet, scrolling TikTok, running errands. Like,
but if somebody tried to book on Calendly, it would look like I'm booked out through January, I think.
Right.
So.
Well, and maybe that's your time block though. So you set Calendly up and you know, okay, my Calendly is Tuesday afternoons, and I'm just picking one, guys. Obviously it would be more. That's this. And but they have to block it or request it
3 days in advance.
Right. So then, okay, then you can fill that time when you need, when you want to. Or
I should play with it more, but I haven't. Anyways, but one thing I think that is helpful to look back on is like, what boundary did you give up the most, right? Or not even boundary, what did you sacrifice the most in 2025? What's the new non-negotiable that you can look at going into the new year? Were you super flexible with the things that you said that were non-negotiables, right? Your lead gen, or maybe it was family oriented. Maybe you said you weren't going to miss a basketball game and you gave up all but 2 basketball games to go show client properties that could have been done at a different time. What did you sacrifice in 2025 that you shouldn't have? I think that's a good thing to.
Right. Mine would definitely be lead gen. I definitely gave my family all the time I had, which I'm 100% okay with, because I feel like the year before that was flip-flopped. I did not get as much time with family as I wanted. And this year, even before everything happened, I made a commitment to myself. I'm going to be there more. I'm going to spend more time with them.
And listen, we talk about this in every episode. I feel like this is not a cut and dry, you must do this, this amount of time, these amount of days, because this business is very unique to what you need it to be. So, but you can't set up your business plan to fit you and then compare it to somebody whose goals and structure and business looks 1,000% different, right? If you're only working.
Go ahead. We have a delay.
I was just going to say, if you're working 20 hours a week, but spending like super amount of time with your kids and involved in the community and those kinds of things that aren't necessarily like working in your business kind of thing, you can't compare yourself to an agent that's working 80 hours a week running a team.
Right.
That's like not the same.
You and I both know we will never be the 5 a.m. go for the run, ice bath, start cold calling at 8 o'clock agents. That's not who we are for so many reasons. And that's okay. But if you know that's who you are, but all you're following on TikTok and Instagram are those agents, you're going to feel like shit. So stop. Follow the people who match who you are. Yep. And if you are that agent, good for you. Not going to be me.
God, I think about it and I'm like, I wish I could do that. But and we've talked about this before, knowing your sweet spot, and mine is not 5 a.m. Okay,
No.
it's not. I'm no. Mm-mm. Okay.
I sometimes struggle to be ready to record at 8:30. Like, it's not gonna happen.
Okay.
And
Pillar.
if you know me, you know I'm the, oh, we have to leave in 5 minutes. Cool, I can sleep for another 3.
Right.
That's who I am.
We went. Okay, this is totally off topic. We went Black Friday shopping, right? And I picked up 2 of my sisters at her house. I was like, we'll be there at 5, right? So Kaylee.
AM?
Oh, girl, we were in Asheville in stores by 6. We were in line. We were at the store 6 a.m.
We were there by like 12.
Oh no, we were done. We had lunch and came home. We had finished all of it. Anyways, but one of my sisters was like, "All right, like so I'm gonna get up at like 4:15 and get ready." And I'm like, "If we're leaving at, or she's getting up at 4 because she's like, if we're leaving here at 4:30 to be there at 5, I'm gonna get up and get ready." And I'm like, I'm literally rolling out of bed at 4:25, putting on pants and shoes and
A messy bun, and we
calling
out.
it a day. Yes.
Yes.
All right, let's do the last. This is the first episode of the year, and we're already like
We're like, woo!
rolling into 30 minutes now. So,
All right. So the third pillar is bravery.
mhm.
Because confidence doesn't come first, courage does. And that reminds me, what is that? Oh, Brenda's got something going on. But it reminds me of The Cowardly Lion. So, huge Wizard of Oz fan. Grew up a couple towns away from where it was written. And so, if you think to The Cowardly Lion, courage didn't come first, or confidence didn't come first. Courage did. Because think about how non-confident he was. He was like, I can't do anything. And then he got his courage, and he was like, I could take on the world.
Yes.
You have to have that courage. So ask for the business. Like, even if your voice is like, ask for it. Do the prospecting, even if it feels awkward or weird. Pitch your value without apologizing for your fee. I think that's a big one. One of the agents who put her license and referral, she's like, I've never felt confident in selling myself. And I'm like, I don't get that because I don't feel like I'm selling myself.
I was just going to say, I'm not
services and a
right.
business. But to some people that's awkward. So you have to have that courage. And I think an easy way to do it, an easy way to step into that is taking up more space online because it's not person to person. I think that's a great way. You can film the videos and let people see you that way. And that gives you the door to open to start those conversations.
Yeah. Without being directly face to face, right? If you're,
Right.
We have a new community, and honestly, I'm so excited about it because here's the thing. It went up to be rezoned so they could do a planned development housing. And they're like, no, we're not rezoning it because we don't want 75 houses there. And I'm like, but there will be 75 houses there. It just depends on, because it's already residential. It just depends on what kind of community they can put there, right? So it did pass. It passed like unanimously, which I was super excited about because we are getting a 55 and older community here in Newton.
Ooh.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's the perfect area for it too.
It really is. And honestly, we just talked about this. I love anybody that looks like they could be my grandparents. So
Brenna is going to be like, do you need a sales agent?
I'm going to be best friends with those people. Anyways, but something like that, like, something's coming and you post a video, or you post, even if your video is great, but if you just want to post the information, it'll take off from there. And you can have conversations in a more like private, like messenger setting versus somebody comes up to you and says, hey, what do you know about the lot off Startown? Right? It just is it's an easy icebreaker, I feel like, because then if nobody responds, but you're still out there. People have seen it, and it's building that trust in you as being seen as the expert without, going and standing behind the podium at the local, what do they call those? Like not the business meetings, but like the town board meetings. Is that what that is?
Oh, like the city council
meeting?
meeting?
City council meetings. There we go.
Yeah. Well, and that's a great way to gain confidence in knowing what's coming. Go check out your city council or your planning meetings. And I do it all the time. And that's how I know, this is happening over here. That's happening. Because it's not always, it's not in the MLS until the houses are starting to be built. Like, I don't know. Yep. So that's a great way to get that confidence. And that gives you the knowledge to speak confidently as to
Yes.
what's happening and what you know. I think another one, like to be brave in your conversations, is tell the truth, not just what people want to hear.
And you can frame
Like-
it like that. Like I say that. I'm like, listen, I'm going to say this because this is like the truth and not necessarily you're going to have agents that come in here. I just had an appointment last week that an agent had told this person that they could list for XYZ to XYZ, which was like a $40,000 range, which was unbelievable at the price point that we're at. But I'm like, I'm going to say this because you're going to have people that come in here and you threw out this number, right? You said this number that you thought it could list for, and I said, no, you're not going to sell it for that. Like you can't. This is why. This is what I'm showing you with the data. And you say, this agent told me that we could list from this to this, and that included your number and above. They're going to take that listing, right? And then come back and want a price decrease. And everyone's going to be surprised that it didn't sell. But I make no money if I just take your listing with no ability to sell it because I know it's not going to sell at this price. You're talking about a price that's $25,000 more than the highest comp in 3 miles.
Yep.
And then compared it to, because she's like, as is, this is funny, compared it to a listing of her parents that had sold 3 years ago in Noda. And if you're not from around here.
Wait. Are we comparing Maiden to Noda?
No, Dallas to Noda.
Same difference.
No, it is. It is the same difference. But I'm like, they bought that house 3 years ago. Because I'm like, did they build a new construction on there? She's like, yeah, it's going to be like, they're building. They bought that house to tear it down for the lot in Noda. Because Noda is like creme de la creme outside of Charlotte.
Well, I was going to say, so like, I'm trying to think. So if you're not in the Charlotte market to understand the look on my face right now, think they are comparing a property in Manhattan.
Okay.
To a property in upstate New York on the Canadian border. That is the difference here. Mm-hmm. Literally. Mm-hmm. They're talking about uptown Charlotte, premier prime real estate to country. Country. I mean, Dallas may only be 30, 35 minutes, but Dallas is country.
And there's people that love that, but it's not.
I know
the same
Dallas is
price,
adorable,
and it's
but
not
comparable.
comparable.
There's no way. No, I thought it was bad. I had people, and they weren't from the area. They wanted to compare Belmont to the Vineyards, and they couldn't understand why. And I was like, it's literally a different city. Mm-hmm. Like you cross that, you're in a different city, a different county. Yep. I can't. Like that's it's the same type of neighborhood. It's only 10 minutes away, and I was like, no, it's not a comparable neighborhood in this instance. Like we have to stay this side of the river. Yeah, no. So I think but that brings us to another one. That's where we let go of those nightmare clients or we don't take them on. Mm-hmm. Let go of them earlier. Like have the confidence to say, you know what? This is not realistic. And yeah, maybe I'm going to lose the money for the photos because we've already gone down this road. But it's easier and better for me to eat $500 than it is to suffer through 6 months with you. Mm-hmm. Don't tell them they're but.
Right. 3 times in 2025, I went on listing appointments and I said I wouldn't work with them.
Yeah. I had one.
3 times. Okay. Another bravery one is making business moves, right? Are you a solo agent and you're trying to juggle all the paperwork, all the intake, all the showings, all of this, all of that? Do you need a VA? Do you need a TC? Do you need a transaction coordinator? Listen, my transaction coordinator changed my life.
Right. I love Emily. We love Emily.
We
Emily,
love
if you're
Emily.
Listening, we love you.
We love you, Emily. Changing your business structure. I think it was 2022 into 2023. I did half the amount of transactions and made more money because I prospect FSBOs and things like that, but I stopped prospecting that 150,000 and lower and those single wides that didn't sell. And I got choosier about the business that I was working for. Right. And I made more money with less transactions because I focused on a different price point. Right.
You narrowed down your price points, your location, But, and again, like if you're a baby agent listening to this, that's also something that takes time.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to break to you, but you might have to take the $80,000 listing
Mm-hmm.
because that's what people see, and
Let's say,
you'll
and
build that confidence and
that's
you'll
not
build that
saying
reputation.
that you won't ever work with something like that. But as far as like seeking that business out, because I was
Right.
spending the same amount of time prospecting a for sale by owner, tiny house in, we'll say Dallas, right? Versus as the same amount of time that I was prospecting Hickory Lake listings. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's the same. That's why like land is hard too. I've done more land deals this year than I ever have. And I
Right.
don't really like doing land because it takes the same amount of time, sometimes more.
Oh, girl, I have land that was supposed to, let me look at my calendar, was supposed to close in October, first week of October. We might close the end of January now.
Great. Yeah.
I'm going to make $1,200.
Yep.
And my clients asked for a discount because they were return clients. And I just said, I'll do it for this, but that's because it's barely going to cover what I pay the TC. And by the time my split comes out, I might pocket $500 on this.
Yikes.
If I'm lucky. So I think the other thing to look at when we're being brave in business moves is it time to switch firms? Is it time to join a team or leave a team? Is it time to, like, I don't have it on today, but I always have that necklace on, and I have it on a bracelet too. My angel numbers are 999. Letting go of things that no longer serve you. That can be freaking scary. That can be terrifying. But the end of the year, beginning of the year is a great time to reanalyze, okay, what are the other options? Am I bringing home what I need to bring home? Would I, if I left this team that really isn't supporting me, or, I've learned enough that I feel confident on my own, is it time for me to make that change? Or I had an agent text me the other day, hey, I think, she's a school teacher, I think at the end of the school year, I'm going to make the jump. I think I'm ready. How did you know? And I was like, I didn't give myself an option. I just quit my job because I was like, I hate this job. But
my husband didn't give me an option. He said if I didn't stop working at the right, like I quit my job when I started taking my class because he's like, listen, if you have a backup, you'll never put all you can into it because you'll feel like you have. If it doesn't work out, it's okay because you still have nights and weekends at the bar.
And that's kind of what I told her. I said, just take the leap. I said, and what you need to do now is start working and doing the things that you think you're going to need to do then full time now. You're going to work 2 full-time jobs right now.
Yep.
To make sure you are set up that when you make that jump. So maybe that's one of the things you need to be brave about is, okay, you're at a firm that's not giving you what you need, or you're at a firm that's taking more and giving like for resources you don't use. Now is the time maybe to make those changes. And that can be scary. I've done it twice and it was terrifying both times.
Yep.
But I looked at the bigger picture. I looked at the numbers. I looked at the resources, the support. What was I needing as an agent? And that's what helped me make that change. So the challenge for Pillar 3 is do one brave thing this week. Maybe it's canceling that listing agreement. Maybe it is telling clients the truth. We've got to adjust this price. Maybe it is, paying. I spent $80 this week on postcards to hang out at the upcoming Christmas parades because I didn't have time to pull together a float this year. I'm still going to go and do some guerrilla marketing and hand out postcards for the Santa letters. Just be brave. And I hope I don't get a ticket for it, but
maybe you shouldn't. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Maybe your one brave thing is something little. Maybe your one brave thing is keeping your phone on Do Not Disturb until 8 a.m. or turning it on at 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. Maybe that is your one brave thing. Maybe your one brave thing is seeing that text message come in and not responding in those first 4 minutes.
Or like for me, I've been wanting to try the Pilates with the reformers for forever. You know what I'm doing at 9 a.m. tomorrow? I booked it last night.
Oh my God.
Because I was setting my boundary and saying, I need to get back in a gym.
We have Pilates studio, again, off topic. Look at us starting this year off like this. We have a Pilates studio opening in Newton with reformers.
Ooh.
And I've looked, because I think the closest one to me is like not close at all. So I'm like, I'm definitely not doing that.
Well, this one's in Belmont and it's stupid expensive. But I'm like, I'm going to try it to see if I like it.
Yep. There's
So,
one in
yeah.
Newton opening. I'm so excited. Okay. All right. Let's pull this all together. Okay.
Yeah, let's pull it together. So,
Okay,
your confidence plan for 2026.
Okay.
At a minimum, set one communication goal,
Mm-hmm.
set one boundary goal,
Mm-hmm.
and one brave business move. And if you don't have a brave business move because you feel like, okay, I've got this, then maybe it's a brave personal move.
Yes.
Maybe it's checking out Pilates. Maybe it's saying no to dinner with a friend that you don't really think is your friend anymore, you know? Like,
Yep.
be brave.
And this confidence isn't built overnight, right? You're not born confident. People are like, oh, she's just a naturally confident person. It's a muscle. It is just like going to the gym. This is built in time and reps and consistency, staying true to what you've said you're going to do, whether it's a boundary, whether it's a personal goal, like whatever it is, doing it over and over and over. And you're going to have a day that you're not going to do it, right? You're going to have a day that you miss. I think it's James Clear in Atomic Habits that says, don't miss twice, right? Like you have to, if you miss once and you're like, oh, well, that's it. I ate the cookie. It's out the window now. Don't miss twice. Realize that you missed. Try again tomorrow.
Yep.
Because it is in reps, not perfection. And remember to treat yourself or celebrate. You don't have to treat yourself. I mean, I do love a gingerbread right now, because it's still out. A gingerbread chai latte. Loving that right now. The small wins, because listen, the big wins happen, but if we keep moving the bar and like, okay, we did this, but now what's the next big thing?
Right.
It gets exhausting. But yeah. We're excited for 2026, you guys. So
yes, go out there, be brave, be confident, and have an amazing year.
Bye, guys.
We just finished another episode of Contracts and Chaos, but believe me, the chaos does not stop here. So check out the show notes for our email address and where to follow us on socials, and we will see you next week.